seconds away on Studio 5.
You yourself abandoned as a child?
Yes, correct.
Meet the man who walked away from millions to become a father to the fatherless.
You've just stepped through a time warp. This is the 90s house.
And then kicking it old school. Studio 5 has a sneak peek at MTV's new show.
God bless Mummy. God bless Daddy. God bless New.
And we're on the red carpet with the cast of Goodbye Christopher Robin.
It really is a beautiful story.
Studio 5 starts now. And welcome to Studio 5. All those stories are ahead. Right now, though, let's dive into this week's countdown of the best in uplifting entertainment news.
I was in the snowbank for 5 hours.
At number 5, farewell to a family-friendly favorite.
Everyone say something nobody else knows that you feel bad about, but you'll feel better after you say it. I use Dad's toothbrush.
What?
Not in my mouth.
The Middle returns to start its final season. The mom at the center of it all, Patricia Heaton, tells me what she'll miss most about the sitcom.
Like when you're on the set, if you just put your hand out like this, someone will give you water or Twizzlers. And you know, I go home in my house, I put my hand out, nothing happens.
At number 4.
Come on, quit resisting you.
Where are we going?
Like a mule.
With the 6th and final season of the Mary Mary reality series drawing to a close.
Some say it's too hard to forgive. I say it's too hard not to.
The Tina Campbell half of the duo is embarking on a 20-city solo tour. Now, the new project is called It's Still Personal.
Yes.
So is it still personal?
Man, let me tell you something. The relationship with God, man, I'm so God-possessed, it ain't even funny. I mean, it's so funny that I was like the face of gospel with my sister, with Mary Mary, for countless years. And the truth is, my relationship with God was not as personal as it is now.
And we'll get to number 3 in the countdown in just a little bit. Charles Mully has lived a real-life rags-to-riches story, but at the height of his success, he walked away from it all and gave away millions to become a father to the fatherless. There's now a documentary on his life, and as that hits theaters, he's sitting down with us for this week's Studio 5 interview. Look for the biggest and brightest smile in these family photos, and you'll find Charles Mully. His children, who were once orphans, call him Daddy Mully.
You yourself abandoned as a child?
Yes, correct. As a young child, I woke up one day to find that I was alone at the age of 5, 6 years. And that was my life. No food, nothing that I could lean on, no accommodation. And then I became a street and a beggar. I remember one day I woke up and everybody had gone.
His amazing climb from Kenya's slums is the focus of this feature film, Mully.
And you go from being a beggar to a millionaire.
Sometimes it's so hard for me to measure at that level, but I can acknowledge and say, yes, Lord really lifted me so high through His favor, through the small business that I started.
Small business.
Yeah, small business that I started.
Mullyways Agencies Limited. And then my dad had a monopoly in oil and gas.
It was my time.
Where do you think that drive for you came from, that entrepreneurial drive to want businesses for yourself and to think, you know, I can do more with this. I can take what little is in my hand and do more. Where'd that come from?
When I look at it and I look back, I see God's grace and a plan, and a good plan. As He said that I have a good plan for you, Jeremiah. And then when you look at it, it's like God had a good plan. Why? He was planning for me to become an instrument for the future. When God wants to really to make use of you, there's no way you can escape, even when you try to run away.
Happily married with 8 children, Mully felt God calling them to sell everything.
That call came in 1986 after a face-to-face encounter with children begging on the street.
I was really tormented by these boys in the street. I saw faces of me and I could not walk anymore. I cried, why is it that God wants me to take me back again? I will never, ever work for money again. God was speaking to me this way. You were like them. I saw them.
You were them?
I saw my face in their faces. And because I was trying to hide myself, and I never shared with anybody. I don't remember one day sharing even a testimony about my past. I wanted, people to see me a great man with money, with everything.
Dad says that he needed to sell everything and start helping the poor in the society, the children who are abandoned.
How do you let go of what you hold dearly? And how do you decide when to share your love?
He started Mully's Children's Family, now the largest children's rehabilitation organization in Africa.
Growing that family to the size it is today hasn't been an easy process.
Oh, this journey has never been easy. Together with my wife, especially the rejection from our friend, from the churches those days, they never wanted to hear about anything. They thought I was crazy.
We had 3 children, 4 children, and the number kept on growing.
They said, welcome, this is your family now. These are all your brothers and sisters.
More than 13,000 of Daddy Mully's children have gone on to become doctors, engineers, scientists, teachers, and lawyers.
I see the world, I see Kenya, I see continent of Africa being transformed through them and through Christ who strengthened us.
Transformation that began with obedience and led to becoming a father to the fatherless.
Mully hits American theaters for a 3-night run beginning October 3rd. Up next on Studio 5.
The creatures in the story are toys. They're toys, but the woods are real.
Your first look at the birth of a classic, Winnie the Pooh.
She is one of the hottest talents on the planet, Margot Robbie.
We're on the red carpet with the cast of Goodbye, Christopher Robin.
Today in these times, people can find a bit of escape.
And welcome back to Studio 5. Let's get back to the countdown of the best in uplifting entertainment news for this week. At number 3.
Only imagine.
The story behind that wildly popular Bart Millard song is now a major motion picture.
It's an amazing song.
Just kind of happened. Took about 10 minutes, I guess.
It didn't take you 10 minutes to write this. It took a lifetime.
And this week, Studio 5 got a sneak peek at the Irwin Brothers film, starring Dennis Quaid.
And he said, I've never played transformation on film like this before, ever in my life, And can people really change like this? Like, did this really happen?
When I was 10, 11 years old, life was tough. And I found some songs that I just, I held on to. And they got me through. They gave me hope. Because I needed it. Maybe tonight, so do you.
The film hits theaters in March. At number 2. Hip-hop legend MC Lyte answers a sometimes vulgar viral challenge, rapping praises about our faith in God.
I came out of sin for the Lord.
Yeah, but they just every now and then for the Lord, huh?
I'm flying fresh to death for the Lord.
Yeah, but you ain't dead, you just waiting on the Lord, right?
Hashtag For The D is a social viral craze that has some celebrities revealing outlandish things they would do for sex.
Since 2, I've been checking for the Lord.
I stand on the mountain for the Lord.
Oh, yes.
Baptized in the fountain for the Lord.
Yeah. Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
And with that, there is only one more headline remaining in the countdown. Imagine this: a father spins a colorful story about his son and his collection of teddy bears. That's actually grown into something we all know and love, the story of Winnie the Pooh. Well, it's now hitting the big screen, and we are hitting the red carpet to bring you your first look at Goodbye, Christopher Robin.
The creatures in the story are toys. They're toys, but the woods are real. And the size is wrong. The bear should be smaller. Size of a little brother. There. Yes. Yes, that's it.
Blue, are you writing a book? I thought we were just having fun.
We're writing a book and we're having fun.
It's the story behind the creation of the Winnie the Pooh story. So it's really the story of the family at the time the stories were written.
You don't usually look like you're having fun while you're writing.
It's the very dapper Will Tilston.
Christopher Robin, he's a very emotional boy, and I describe him as two people, really, put into one person.
Is tonight's leading man, it's Doyle Gleason.
I'm playing Alan Milne, who wrote the Winnie the Pooh books.
This is more than a few poems.
It's a little world. Like you said, 100-acre paradise.
I think the whole story's about how him and his father's relationship gets confused with all this fame, and it really is a beautiful story, though.
We're putting you in it too.
What will you call me in the book?
Your real name, Christopher Robin.
She is one of the hottest talents on the planet, Margot Robbie.
I play Daphne Milne, A.A. Milne's wife and the mother of little Christopher Robin.
Life is full of frightful things. The great thing is to find something to be happy about.
Winnie the Pooh was, consistent throughout my childhood. I had a Winnie the Pooh toy and Tigger.
Ready to put the smile back on our faces?
What do we fight that war for?
Well, it is over.
What am I doing about it?
You're doing what you're good at, writing plays.
I had enough of making people laugh. I want to make them see. I need to get out of London.
In a world after World War I, when things were a bit, the country was hurt and the world was hurt, it kind of provided that innocence people felt robbed of. And I think even today in these times, people can find a bit of escape and a bit of a safe place in those books.
Mummy says you're writing a book to stop people going to war. I think your book is a jolly good idea.
You're the only one that does.
The stories are about innocence and childhood and imagination, things that are very important to remember in this day and age.
Shall we go for a walk?
Aren't you working?
It doesn't seem likely.
Could you think of a good name for a donkey?
Eeyore. They'll be gone in a minute.
Bees are good, aren't they? They just want to make honey.
Yes, I completely forgot about bees.
They kind of battle through trauma to get to something beautiful, and I think it's a very beautiful story.
Let's be hunters in the snow. Come on, don't get frostbite.
Winnie the Pooh.
It's rather
inexplicable.
Yes.
It's about his childhood and how it's sort of sacrificed to make other childhoods better.
Evening news will put Christopher on the front page.
I hope they experience something beautiful. I hope they're touched. A lot of people seem to go and have a good cry and feel good about themselves and good about their relationships.
He has to be allowed to grow up. He has to know he's important.
Radio interview, newspaper interview. He can't do all this.
He's rather good at it.
He's a little boy. Come on then.
Where to?
Home, I should think.
Goodbye, Christopher Robin is in American theaters as of October 13th. Still to come on Studio 5.
Fax machines, say goodbye. They're taking our vote. No more communication with 2017.
What in the world?
Oh my God, this thing is so annoying.
One by one, each of them will be eliminated. Dun, dun, dun. But when the pressure gets tough,
who's ready to battle?
Going back to the 90s for a chance to win $90,000.
Listen to this important message. If you owe money to the IRS, you will want to hear this. The IRS is cracking down on those who owe back taxes. They send out devastating letters, garnish paychecks, and even put liens on your home or business. You may have heard of it. It's called enforced compliance. Penalties and interest compound daily on your back taxes, putting you under a mountain of debt. Tax 10,000 has years of experience connecting people with tax resolution specialists who will negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, they will handle all the necessary forms and can negotiate a tax settlement with the IRS. It's that simple. And if you qualify, you may end up saving thousands of dollars, finally ending your financial stress. Now is the time for a fresh start. Now is the time to call Tax 10,000. 800-658-7103. That's 800-658-7103. Call now.
And welcome back to Studio 5. The wait is over. It's time now for the final headline in this week's countdown of the best in uplifting entertainment news. At number 1.
What in the world?
Hang on a second. Who are you?
That's Pluto. That's our new stray dog.
The Stray is the true life story of a dog saving an entire family.
This isn't working anymore. You working at the studio day and night.
What about our dreams?
My dream is a happy family. We're not doing so well.
At what point as you're living this phase of your life did you realize, I've got a movie?
You know, I never really realized that until 2 years ago, our youngest son came to my wife and I and said, hey, I've been thinking I want to make a movie out of the Pluto lightning story. And my wife and I were like, what? It was kind of a private story, kind of a sacred family story that got passed down, and our youngest was the only one of our 5 children who was not alive when it happened.
The Stray is in American theaters Friday. That wraps the countdown and brings us to our next story. MTV has a new show called MTV's 90s House. It forces 12 young people to live in a house together and unplug from all social media and technology and take a trip back to the 90s. Take a look.
Do you love the 90s?
What in the world?
So do we.
You've just stepped through a time warp.
So we threw 12 people into a house to see how they could deal with life before 2017.
I don't think I can live without social media.
And joining us right now here in Studio 5 is one of the hosts of MTV's 90s House, Christina Milian. So good to see you.
Hello, thank you, Ephraim. How are you?
I'm doing very well. First off, how difficult or how easy is it for these young people to unplug from social media and technology?
Well, initially, you know, when the kids, so there's 12 millennials, you know, they are stuck to their cell phones like no other. You know, social media is everything. It's their life. It's their source of life, you know. So when they came into the house, you know, they knew they were going to be in a competition and living together, but they had no idea that they were living in the 90s. So yeah, all the great technology that we have now no longer exists, and it's simplified. And initially, you know, obviously it was like hard for them to like let go, because I didn't think they actually knew that that was going to happen. But hey, if you want to be part of the competition, if you want to win $90,000, win a new car, go on a cruise, go to the I Love the 90s tour, then you gotta let it go. So yeah, the kids handled it pretty well. I'm sure it led to a couple little frustrations here and there because, you know, they are living together and they can't really like reach their friends and family the way that they normally do, but they do have phones. They do have dial-up internet. You know, if they're patient enough, they can get through about 15 minutes of hearing that ding, ding, ding sound, and they will eventually be online.
All right, I remember that myself. Now, I know Mario Lopez, Tatiana Ali, Michelle Williams, lots of celebrities from that time making an appearance. What can you tell us about what's going to happen with them?
Ooh, well, we have a lot of the different celebrities that we had, from, like you said, Tatiana Ali to we had Kid and Play, Peppa and Spinderella. Everybody that came on the show was a part of the competition, so they're actually challenging the kids to learning about, you know, they're actually educating them about whatever the challenge had to be. So we brought on people like Peppa and Spinderella. When they came on, they helped them, like, you know, in the 90s, rap beef was like became like a big deal. You got beef. Who who got beef. So, you know, they just help them to like have their presence, their stage presence, so that, you know, whoever's going to be the winner, you know, it's up to the crowd. And then, you know, you have other people like, oh gosh, there were so many great people. I'm like throwing back everything in my head. Tyson Beckford and Tatiana Ali, they help us to even like, you know, to pick out who you know, a lot of it is as judging, but also it's them teaching them about whatever the culture was, whatever they were great at. And that's the reason we brought them onto the show. They're being able to pass on the baton to the kids because they're not necessarily of that time. They might be 90s babies, but they didn't live it the same way that we did. So it's really cool to have had those people on the show, and I think anyone watching the show is going to be like, oh my gosh, I remember that. So there's a lot of things that it brings a lot of great nostalgia.
Beautiful. Now I hear all the things that they could possibly win, all the things that are happening. Any drama unfold as a result?
Oh yeah, there's definitely drama because this is a competition. There's only one winner, so there's drama. I mean, you have people who build alliances on the show. There's a young gentleman named Prince that Prince becomes like real stiff competition with everybody because, you know, he is very competitive, but you know, because he's so strong, there's a lot of other people that kind of come together that are like, okay, we got to bring this guy down because we don't want him to come down to, you know, for it to come down to him at the end. So, you know, there's a lot of alliances, and then there's moments, there's romance on the show too. A lot of guys have a crush on one of our girls. I don't know how she makes her decisions, but a couple of them have a big crush on one of our friends. And then there's some people that come with a whole motive, like Mark, and you'll get to see it on some of the episodes. He talks about it. He's like, you know, I'm gonna play the role. I'm gonna play the sensitive role. I'm crying. I'm gonna make them really like me and think that, you know, I have no chance in this because I want to be the winner. So, you know, but a lot of the kids, they can read through that, you know. So real knows what's real. So it's cool. There's some drama in the household.
Well, I can tell you, MTV does it like none other, and you are a great person to host it. Thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated. Enjoyed having you.
Thank you so much.
And
thank you for having me. Thank you.
You are very welcome. You can look forward to seeing MTV's 90s House at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, and of course that is on MTV. Now, speaking of the 90s, we've got a joke about that from our resident comedian, Lionel Harris. You want to hear it? Here it is.
In today's world, if you don't want to have face-to-face conversations, you don't have to. Now, as you just saw, the TV show 90s House is paying people $90,000 to go back in time and live like it's the 90s. That means no social media, no texting, no Snapchatting. They're gonna have real conversations. Now personally, I'm concerned that whoever wins the $90,000 is gonna have to go all to medical bills from those panic attacks they get brought on by real human interaction.
Still ahead on Studio 5.
Your looks are laughable.
Recognize that voice? If not, we're revealing who it is and tapping him for a word you can use. And welcome back to Studio 5. We are almost out of time for this edition of the show, so let's look ahead to next week. At number 2.
Mr. Spell, I'm Thurgood Marshall with the NAACP. You heard of us.
The life of Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall is coming to a theater near you in a courtroom thriller based on his life. Chadwick Boseman plays the title role of Marshall, and rising star Sterling K. Brown plays Joseph Spell, a man on trial for rape and attempted murder. People versus O.J., This Is Us. You seem to be riding a beautiful wave right now. Where does this film for you fit in that wonderful wave you're riding?
You know, this is the first film that I've done since O.J. and This Is Us. So it's sort of a new foray for me from the small screen to the big screen. And it's exciting.
And we hope you join us for that on a special edition of Studio 5 come next week. As for the final word for this show, I'm giving that to actor T.C. Carson. Perhaps you remember him as Kyle on the hit series Living Single. Well, he is also a singer. So let's take a listen to his voice before we get that word.
we get inundated with so much noise, so much stuff. And in order to like center yourself, you have to get all of that stuff out of your mind. So I tell people to get quiet, and usually an answer will come if you get quiet.
An incredible voice and an incredible word to be still, be silent, and the answer will indeed come. That is going to do it for this edition of Studio 5. Until next time, reach out and touch me at Ephraim Graham on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. And then you be sure to come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.